Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So earlier today I filmed a makeup look, and then I went out and ran some errands, and I just figured that I would film another video. There's a video that I've been wanting to film for a while before I even started my channel. I just kind of wanted to talk about some personal struggles that I have, and I know that a lot of you obviously don't know me very well, and I haven't been on YouTube for that long, and you just know me through social media like Instagram and stuff like that. But I wanted to do something a little bit more personal and just, I don't know, I just want you guys to know that I'm not what I seem in my pictures. Like, I feel like that's my makeup page, and like I love it, and I try really hard to not be perfect, but I try and perfect my looks, and I obviously only post good pictures, and I feel like you guys don't really get a good idea of who I am. And I just wanted to talk about some stuff today. I know that I mentioned, I think in my last video, that or maybe I didn't. Yeah, so I suffer with anxiety, like severe anxiety. It just affects every aspect of my life, and I feel like so many people can relate to this, and that's why I want to talk about it today and why I wanted to bring it up, because it's honestly sad. Like, I'm glad that people are coming out and talking about it, because I think it's so important to talk about it. But it just makes me so sad that so many people struggle with it, because it's such a burden to live with. Like, it's just, and I think that people who have never experienced it have a hard time like understanding, and I've had so many people say, well, it's all in your head. All that anxiety is just in your head, so just stop thinking about it or stop doing it. But it's not. If you've had anxiety, you know that it's not that easy. And if it was, then anxiety would not even really be a thing. I've suffered with anxiety since I was about, I was like in second grade. And I had some trauma happen in my life as a kid. I was molested by my grandfather. It was my mom's dad. And it was so hard, because I grew up in a family that was just like picture perfect. I mean, just everything, family vacations, family dinners every night, all the holidays were at our house. My sister and I were very fortunate, and we had a great life. And so when this happened, I felt like I didn't want to ruin what we had, and so I didn't want to say anything. So I held it in for about a year or two, and I might make a separate video on this topic alone if you guys want to see that. And I know it's like super personal, but I think that it's so important to talk about stuff like this, and I just want anybody out there who maybe like relates to this to see this video, and maybe it can help them in any sort of way. So anyways, back to what I was saying. I came out with what had happened about a year or two later, and it was devastating. I told my sister first, and she told me that I had to tell my parents. And it was so terrifying. Like, I will never forget that day, because as a kid, I was like in third grade, I think, when I came out with this. And as a kid, talking to your parents about something like that, it's like, I mean, I didn't even know. And the reason that I told my sister was because we were supposed to be staying with my grandparents for that weekend, because my parents were going to go out of town. And my sister was going to be going to a birthday party or a friend's house or something, and my grandma was going to be running errands, and I was terrified with what might happen, that something more might happen with my grandfather. And I couldn't keep it in anymore. I had to tell somebody, because I was just so scared. So I told my sister, and she told me I had to tell my mom, because like I said, it was my mom's dad. And I told her what had happened, and she obviously was just so upset. It really just took a huge toll on my family. They believed me, and they were, they told me how sorry they were, and they were definitely supportive at first. And they went, and my parents both went and confronted my grandpa and talked to him, and he denied it and said that never happened and it must be a misunderstanding, and just went on and on about it. And as a kid, I'm like, okay, like, I just came out and told you this, like, horrifying thing that had happened to me. And it just felt like everybody was trying to figure out a way or like a reason why this happened. And there has to be some sort of an explanation. This could not have been, there had to have been more to the story. And I just remember my grandpa came over, I don't really know the time frame, but probably like a couple weeks after I had told my mom. And they sat down and talked to him, and I went and I was in my room, and my grandpa wanted to come and talk to me. And this is like terrifying for a child. Like, he molested me not only once, but multiple times. And he wanted to come and talk to me, and I couldn't even look him in the face. And I remember locking myself in the bathroom and him just knocking on the door and saying, let me just talk to you, let me just talk to you. And I just was, that was traumatizing. That was more traumatizing than probably anything. And after that, my parents, they got me into counseling. And I was going to a counselor through my church, and my grandparents went to that church. So it was all weird because this therapist, like, she knew my grandparents, and that to me was just like, this is so awkward. But I appreciate my parents making that step to take me to therapy and to try and do what they felt was right, trying to help me move forward, because I was like, I was doing horrible in school. I started gaining a lot of weight. And I was obviously super depressed after all this happened. And I remember going to counseling, and I went through multiple counselors for a long time. And then when I was in about 6th grade, I started self-harming. It was just, I was just like cutting myself every day, cuts upon cuts upon cuts. And I still have horrible scarring. And I look back at the person that I was, and I'm like, because I could never do that now. But anyone who's maybe dealt with that, like, knows how addicting it can be, because it was the only thing that was making me feel better. And it was like, my parents acknowledged what had happened. They had taken me to therapy, but then they started bringing my grandpa around me. And I remember we went on a road trip. It was me and my sister and my parents and my grandparents. And I'm on an RV with somebody who molested me. And it was traumatizing. It was just like, what am I like, is this a dream? Like, this was crazy. And like, so that all happened. And then I finally, I was like such an outcast in school. I had a lot of friends, and I definitely, like, I wasn't like a loner or anything. I just always, like, I was doing horrible in school, junior high, high school, everything. And I finally found my counselor that I still see now. I found her when I was in 7th grade, or maybe it was 8th grade. I think I was like 14. So I've been seeing her for like 10 years now, or maybe 11. It's been a long time since I've been seeing her. Anyways, so I started seeing her, and my parents realized that they had just completely screwed up. So my parents understood that they did not handle the situation right. And what parent knows what to do in that situation, but they know that they completely handled it in the wrong way. And so I started seeing my counselor and started really dealing with all of this stuff. But I was like severely depressed. I was on so many different medications, trying to figure out a way to just function. But there was just so many days where all I wanted to do was just lay in bed and not do anything. And that was hard. I mean, it was like I would get out of school and I'd come home and all I wanted to do was sleep. And then when I got a little bit older, like in high school, like I experimented with drugs and I was drinking all the time, and I just was trying to numb out everything. And I really didn't start dealing with, I had night terrors as a kid, but I really didn't start dealing with anxiety until probably like 6 or 7 years ago. It started to become pretty bad. And I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like this video is all over the place, but I don't know. I'm just trying to film what I feel because I've had all this stuff in my mind trying to talk about it. And I don't know if you guys, I mean, obviously I'm not getting emotional in this video, and that is because, I mean, it is a completely emotional thing and it definitely affects me still to this day, but I'm such a stronger person from all of this. I have been in therapy, like I said, for like 10 years or so, just dealing with myself. And even in those times where like I was stubborn and I didn't want to go to counseling, and I mean, as a kid, you just want to go and hang out with your friends, or even in high school, it's like I didn't want to just be in therapy and be on medication and do all this stuff, but I did it and I moved forward with it. And now it's to the point where like I can talk about it without crying. And that took a long time to get to that point, to talk about it without crying. And I know, I mean, I don't know if any of my friends and family are going to watch this video, and if they do, like, I don't really, I mean, some people might be offended by it or just think that I'm sharing too much information, but I don't. And I think this kind of stuff happens every day to people. And I feel like it shouldn't be a hidden thing. Like, I don't care if it was my family or not, you know? My grandpa is no longer alive anymore, and I confronted him when I was about 15 years old, and I went to his house, and I will never forget when he answered the door, he was smiling. Just like nothing had happened and like everything's fine. And I sat down and I looked him in the face and I just said, how could you do this to me? I said, do you realize that you're the reason why I'm cutting myself? The reason why I have to be in therapy 3 times a week? Why I'm failing all of my classes in school? Why I'm severely depressed and just everything that I was feeling. And I never got what I want. It wasn't like I ever got to hear what I wanted from him, and I don't think there ever could have been something that he could have said, but I felt like a strong person because I went over there and I faced my biggest fear. I faced the person that, I'm not going to say ruined my life because he didn't, and I'm not going to let him have that satisfaction, but the person that had such a big impact and just completely drastically changed my life. And I can say that a lot of people aren't able to do that depending on what kind of sexual abuse you went to, when the kind of sexual abuse that you went through. Some people aren't not lucky enough, but don't have that opportunity to confront their demon and the person that did that to him. And I am extremely proud of myself for being able to go and face somebody like that. I feel like I am forever changed from that day. And yeah, I just, I can't explain it. I can't explain how it made me feel, but it was, like I said, life-changing. And so I want to get back, if you guys want like I mean, I know I explained what happened, but if you guys want a more in-depth video about this, like I'll make one. It just let me know in the comments below if this is something that you would want, to see. But I want to get back into like just the anxiety disorder. Really in the last, like I said, in like the last 6 or 7 years, it's gotten really bad, but in the last like year, it's just like skyrocketed to the point where I just like, I don't know, it's so weird because it's like I'm a really happy person and I'm very blessed and I have a lot of great people around me and just great things in my life, and I'm just proud of the person that I am, but I struggle so bad with anxiety to the point where like, and it'll come out of nowhere. I could be having a great time or just like sitting and watching TV and doing nothing that should be stressing me out at all, and I get this feeling that somebody is literally like strangling me and pushing on my chest, and I'll get like pain in my arm and like feel numbness and tingling like in my hands and my feet and around my mouth. And I don't necessarily hyperventilate, but I know that I get shortness of breath, and I probably am subconsciously like hyperventilating. And it's like, it's so hard. And for so long I was able to like handle my panic attacks. I had them for so long that I had all my methods and all my things that I would do to help with that. But in the recent months or a year or whatever, it's been something that just affects me, and it keeps me from doing the stuff that I want to do. Last year I was diagnosed with a form of bipolar disorder. I'm still not convinced that I really even have bipolar disorder, but they started putting me on a medication because I was so sick to my stomach. I was like throwing up, like I couldn't even eat. I was so sick. And that was that time that I went gluten-free. And I don't know if you guys saw my weight loss, but I was literally not eating and so sick for so many days. I lost 12 pounds in like a matter of like 2 weeks or something. And it was horrible. I had to like drink those Ensure shakes every day. That's all I could keep down, and drinking like Powerade to try to keep my electrolytes up. And I was so tired and like fatigued, and just like, it was horrible. And that went on for like 4 to 6 months. And then I cut out gluten, and I started trying to take care of myself, and, you know, trying to exercise more and just do all that stuff. And I lost about 65 pounds. And not all of it was healthy, the way I was losing it. And it was so quick. I mean, every time my family members or friends would see me, they were like, oh my God, like I had just transformed, because I had weighed, I was 236 and I lost 65 pounds. I was about down to like 175. And my weight's always fluctuated because I'm a stress eater. When I'm stressed out, I eat. And that's just how I've always been. So even in the last couple months, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, and I don't really care if you can, and it doesn't offend me if you can see it, but I've put on weight. I've put a lot of that weight back on. And again, it's from just the anxiety and just everything that I experience and I feel. And it makes me sad because I worked really hard. Like I said, some of it was unhealthy with losing weight, but a lot of it I put a lot of time and effort and really tried to change my eating habits. And it's crazy. And I'm sure so many of you relate to this, like how it can just, you can just put it back on so quickly. And you're just like, you're in denial about it. And you're like, oh, I'll just eat this one bad thing and like, I'll be fine. But then one bad meal turns into another, and then the snacking starts, and it just like, it's like a downward spiral. And I've now changed to a vegan diet. I don't know if I'm going to stay with it, but I'm on the raw till 4 vegan diet. And I'm not trying to get any attention by being vegan. I don't even know a ton about it. I have researched it for a couple months before I did this diet. I'm on day 7. And my reason for doing it is not weight loss. My reason for doing it is to see if doing a drastic change in diet like that, because I've researched it so much, can help with anxiety and digestive issues and just stuff like that. And honestly, it's not going to hurt me. So I'm going to try it. I'm really trying to get off of medication. I don't want to be on medication every day. I don't want that burden of always having to refill my prescriptions and take pills and whatever. And it's just like something that I just don't want. I don't want it to be a permanent thing. So I'm doing that right now. I honestly feel really good in this moment right now. I feel really good and really healthy. And if I like this diet, I'm not on a diet, but if I like this lifestyle change, I'm going to stick to it if it works for me. But we'll see, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. I hope you guys got something out of what I told you today. I don't have a problem opening up. One of the biggest reasons is not makeup to start this channel. It's to connect with people out there, because I know that when I was younger, YouTube was not like a big thing. Like there wasn't this kind of stuff on here. And I honestly have so much respect for people who come on here and open up about things that, and like I said, it might make a lot of people uncomfortable, and I don't really care. I mean, I have, I'm sure there's like people from my high school or people from wherever that, might see this, people that I know, and I don't really care if they hear this story. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed of it. It's what happened to me. It's what made me the person that I am today. And like I said before, like if I can just help even one person or make somebody feel like they're not alone and that they can connect on this level with me, like that would just completely like warm my heart, because I just feel like everybody deserves to feel understood, and they deserve to feel like they're not alone, because that's the worst feeling in the entire world, is to feel alone. So I love you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this kind of video. If you want to see more stuff like this, then just let me know. I'm still dealing with anxiety, you know, currently. So this is still an everyday struggle, and I don't have all the answers. I'm just letting you know like what I have been trying to do, like changing, I think just changing your lifestyle, whether it be diet or exercise or the people that you surround yourself with, or the hobbies that you have, or starting a hobby, or just doing something that makes you feel good. I think it's so important to do something like that. So yeah, if you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know like what kind of topics you want to hear and you want me to talk about. And like I said, if you want me to go more into the story of the molest and everything that happened with me as a kid, let me know and I can do that for you. So thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe and thumbs up this video if you liked it. And yeah, and if you guys are just here for the makeup, that's fine too. Like you can just watch my makeup beauty guru kind of videos, but if you guys do like this, like just know that they're here. So yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.